My name is Wardy Ward, and I'm your tour guide on this self-help educational episode of What's Up with Ward TV. As you may know, I'm from the good hood where we get it good and give it good 1000% of the time. You feels me? Our motto is everybody has a story to tell, but we just want to know what's yours. On this podcast, you can count on hearing authentic stories from real people who more than likely look like you and think like you as well. We cover everything from love, life, relationships, and everything in between. With that being said, our in studio guest today certainly fits this criteria. My guest today is a phenomenal woman who was born in Boston, Mass., but she now lives in Indianapolis, Indiana. And shortly, we're going to find out her perspective on living in Beantown, her education, how she arrived in that town, and how she benefits the community, and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Liz to the What's Up with Ward TV and Labs. How you doing, Liz?
I am great. Thanks for having me, Ward.
All right, glad to have you here. All right, so let's just jump right into it. There's so many things I want to talk about, which um, first thing I want to talk about is Will Smith had did a movie with Octavia Spencer called The Suicide Squad. And in between shooting, he asked her, he said, "Who are you?" or "Who was she?" And he explained that he was always that man who wanted a family because of his childhood and his background. And that really made her think. And I personally understand Mr. Smith's pain and question to that. So I want to ask you that. Who is Liz Wilson?
Liz is like you said, a phenomenal woman. I
Mm,
consider myself that.
mm,
I had to earn that. Um, I am from Boston, born and raised, have 4 children, divorced. I am a social worker, licensed social worker. I'm also a doula,
mm.
and I have a business, Auntie Liz's Kitchen. But who am I in a more deep, profound way? I am just a woman that loves people, and I love life, and I love helping others.
Okay, I like that. That's nice.
Mhm.
Now, again, you said you're from Boston. I want to touch on that a little bit because I've never been to Boston, and you're one of the few people that I actually know from that area. How was life there as a young person growing up? I imagine you had to be like one of the only black people in that area.
Not at all. It's that is a myth about Boston.
Mm, mm.
It's plenty of Black people in Boston.
Okay.
However, growing up in Boston was challenging when I was younger because I was bused to school.
Oh,
I was police escorted to school.
oh my.
So all the buses met up at this one location. And
Hmm.
so they all waited till all the buses got there. And we had a police car in the front, one in the back, 2 motorcycle cops on the side. And that's how we went to school in South Boston, Massachusetts.
How long did that last? That type of schooling?
Oh, oh, that went on for some years.
What?
Um,
Man.
yeah, that went on for some years. It was rough because you're you're just a kid on the bus and you hear all these racial slurs and
Hmm.
rocks being thrown at the bus and uh, fights all the time. My brother, who's 5 years older than me, they would have to shut their school down for a couple of weeks at a time because there was always riots. So um,
Man.
it was rough. However, in my particular neighborhood where I grew up in Dorchester, um,
Dorchester.
it was just mixed with everybody. We had Puerto Rican neighbors, Cape Verdean, um, you named Vietnamese. I mean, we just went, we just had like everybody around us.
Yeah.
Um, it was very diverse. And I think that actually helped shape me into the person I am today because I love culture.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So it sounds a lot like it's New York. Is Boston is in the proximity? They're kind of close there. Is it similar?
About 4.5 hours away from New York City.
Oh, that's a
Um,
nice little drive.
However, it's populated, it's the city, so it's a lot going on. um I always say, if you can drive in Boston and New York, you can drive anywhere.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Now you had mentioned those police escorts there. This is probably what, the 70s, 80s we're talking about?
uh yes, and late 70s, yeah, early 80s.
What
Late
was the
70s.
problem? Why did they need, I mean, I know Boston is kind of racially challenged. I don't know if it is now. I know it was then. What was the problem? They just didn't want the schools integrated, or were they integrating them at that time?
They did not want to put the money into the schools in the Black and brown communities. So this happened in other areas in the country. So they decided that they were going to bus inner city children out
Hmm.
into schools that were in white areas.
Oh, I
And
see now. I see.
yeah,
Okay.
so that's why we needed the police escort, because they didn't want us there.
Yeah.
So we had plenty of challenges going to school, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I mean, I remember it vividly, driving up the hill in South Boston, on D Street in South Boston,
Okay.
and just arriving into the front of the school, and we got these police everywhere, and then
Hmm.
you just got these angry people
Yeah.
mad that these inner city children are being bussed into their neighborhood, and they did not like it. Um, and so um, I remember my teacher, Mr. Peters, fifth grade. Um, he was a white older man, but he like protected us.
Okay.
Um, he didn't show any difference, in any of the kids. And it was a mixed classroom, white kids and Black kids. And we all got along in the classroom. And
Hmm.
so as a little kid, I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Because, the kids in the classroom, we were fine. It was just the parents that did not
Yeah.
want us there. So,
It's always the parents. How long of a bus ride are we talking? 20, 30 minutes?
so it took about 20 minutes to get to the location. And then from that location, it was probably like 6, 7 minutes to the school.
Not bad, not bad.
Mhm.
But as a young person, I can imagine the trauma you must have felt, or the fear of, especially your parents too, knowing that was happening daily. So
Yeah, I mean, it was just hard to go to school like that. Um,
mhm. Yeah,
and um, feeling, of course, you're like, what's wrong with us?
right,
why
right,
do
yeah.
why you don't like us?
Hmm.
And so yeah, our parents, they didn't want us to, be bused, but what could they do?
Right.
Back then, yeah. So
Hmm.
the powers that be, they made all the choices. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. A little fact I have here: as of October 30th of 2023, the overall Black population of Greater Boston now stands at 485,000, or about 10.6% of the population. So I guess you can feel as safe as you could have then anywhere. Like you said, it was a melting pot of a variety of people there. Did it kind of shape how you felt about other cultures, the way they treated you as a young person, or did you just stay in your same, hey, we all friends, we all good?
I think it goes back to my parents. So they had friends from all over,
Mhm.
including white friends. So
Okay.
so they kind of you know, shaped me into the person I am, that to love everybody. And it was just fun having friends from Puerto Rico, and having friends from Haiti and
Yeah.
Jamaica and Cambodia. It was just so many different nationalities around. And then as I got older, um, and went to high school and started going over to some of my friends' houses and stuff like that, I learned how to cook the food.
Mm.
So
That's how you did it. Okay.
yeah, so I learned how to cook different dishes and things like that. So yeah, it was just fun. I mean, I had a good time growing up in my neighborhood.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
you had mentioned your parents were there. Now, did you grow up in a two-parent household?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay. All
I
right.
sure did. Yeah, I had two amazing parents. They were best friends, and yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that was a blessing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. But which parent would you say you're more like, your mom or your dad?
I think I'm a mix. You
Hmm.
know, I got, my dad never met a stranger. And
Okay.
so I think I got that from him.
Uh-huh.
And then um, I got some of my mom's ways of nurturing, and that's why she enjoyed cooking. And that's what I do. Like I enjoy cooking for others. And so I think I got that from her.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, did since you had both parents' house, did you get spankings when you were a kid, or did you get the beat down that I got?
I think they were, maybe they were tired by the time they got to me. I didn't, but I was kind of sneaky.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I did my stuff and got away with it. I
Uh-huh.
only remember my dad spanking me once.
Mm.
And my brother, he was the cause of that. They were repairing something in our bathroom, and so there
Uh,
were tubes by the tub.
yes.
And my parents were wrapping gifts for Christmas, so they told us not to, do not come out of this room. And my brother, always fixing something, he was like, "Can you go get me that screwdriver?" And I'm like, "Okay." I
Yeah.
go grab it. When I come back, my father's standing there like, "Uh-huh, didn't I tell you? Did I tell you not to?"
Told
But
you
it
not to
was
come out that
so
room.
funny. It was so funny because I dove under my sister. I was a little bitty thing then, and she was trying to get me from under her. And then I kind of like jumped down and got up under the bed, and my father just lifted the whole bed up.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You
And
know what
then
that meant.
I remember once when my mom kind of like snatched me up a little bit, but no, I kind of was sneaky, Ward.
Hmm.
Yeah, I kind
Hmm.
of got away with a lot.
Okay. Now, recap again. How many brothers and sisters you said you had?
I have two brothers and a sister,
Okay.
and then I have a half brother.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you're the baby of them all?
No, I have my baby brother. I'm what you call the knee baby. I'm the knee baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what did your parents do for a living?
Well, my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a while until she got tired and she's like, "I'm out of here. I'm going to work."
Okay.
Um, and so she worked kind of like a sorry, like a PCA type of job, a personal
Okay.
care attendant. And then my dad, he was a jack of all trades. um, he was a painter. He fixed cars. He fixed
Hmm.
just about anything,
Okay. Yeah.
but he did like maintenance work. Hmm.
Okay. Well, he wasn't Jamaican by any chance, was he? All them
No.
jobs. Okay. I'm just asking.
me
Um,
got me got 3 jobs.
Three jobs,
Now,
man. Uh,
now, my parents are from Wilmington, North Carolina, Rocky Point, North Carolina.
okay. Why did
Yeah.
they go to Boston? What made them move up that
Just
way?
like everybody else back in the day, that there was no work in the South.
Mm. Hmm.
So they packed up. My mom was pregnant with me back in the 60s, and they migrated up to Boston.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents were from the Mississippi area. Then they moved up north to Chicago. And then we kind of moved over to Indiana. So that is very same similar thing we had. What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were young, seeing so many different facets of life you've been through at such a young age, and that busing thing, going there, of course, the snow. What did you want to do when you grew up? What was the plan?
Well, I've always said I wanted to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wanted to be in the helping field. But as I got older, you know, I knew I couldn't stand the sight of blood. So, you know, I kind of went into human services.
Okay.
But I think I've always been a social worker.
Okay. Yeah.
Ever since I was young, people always just came to me and just started talking to me. And
Mm.
so,
Mm.
yeah, I think I was a good listener.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think you're logical?
And I would say most of the time.
Okay. Yeah. I only ask that because you see a lot of people come to you, and if you're a good listener, I know that you got to be doing something right if people are coming.
I try to give good advice if they ask me for it. But I think just really listening and using my motivational interviewing skills, which I didn't know
Ooh.
that's what I was doing back then,
Yeah.
but really like putting it back on them, like, and you know, I kind of just had a knack for asking the right questions,
Yes.
and then they kind of had like an aha moment.
Yep. It
And they
was taking
kind of
me.
figured it out on their own.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
best way to do it too, because if
Mm-hmm.
you give everybody the answers and they're gonna keep coming to you and not really using their own skill set there. So
Mm-hmm.
you had mentioned that you're a doula too. Am I saying that right? A doula?
Yes, a birth sister.
How did
So
yeah, where did
yeah.
that come from?
Well, again, just the joy of helping others. So I
Hmm.
was trained at Boston Medical Center,
Okay.
and so I just helped a friend one day, and I was there and uh, you know, helped her through her birth, and
Yes.
then I just was like, this is something I want to do, and so I took the training and
Hmm.
became a birth sister. Mhm.
Now, for those of us who may not know exactly what they do, can you give me some insight of what a doula does, and can anybody be a doula? Do I have to be trained to do that?
Yes, you have to be trained because there's different types of doulas. A doula is basically there to support the mom. So the midwife is usually focused on what's going on with the baby.
Hmm.
They're focused on uh, empowering mom and letting
Oh.
mom know you're built to do this. You were built to do this. You were built
Hmm.
to give birth, and we help the mom come up with a birth plan of what they want to see. Some women want water birth.
Okay.
Uh, some women. I mean, from who do you want in the room with you?
Hmm.
All those things. We help clean up after the birth. Uh, we, you know, see the clients after to help them with breastfeeding.
Oh wow.
There's different types of doulas. Like I said, there's uh, doulas that assist moms that lose their children, you know,
Oh,
helping
okay.
them through that process, that
Yeah.
grieving process.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what about the guys? Do they get any help during this process, or they did their part, or just come in when they got to cut the umbilical cord? What's the guy? What do you do for the men?
Okay, well, we do try to include the dad if they're in the room, and kind of support them too. Even though our main focus is on the mom, we want the dad to be a part of that process, of course, you know,
Yes.
letting him, you know, hey, you know, can you, you know, lift her up like this, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
support her like this, and teaching them how to be supportive as well. So yeah, they are a part of the process.
Okay. Okay. And I believe you had mentioned to me off air about it's this rock you guys do. Can you explain that?
You know, we kind of come behind the mom, up under the arms, and have her to squat down, and
Mhm.
we're kind of like a sway when you're swaying back and forth, and it's just kind of soothing. And when she squats, it just kind of helps open up the cervix.
I see.
So, and it's really soothing to have somebody just behind you, you know, rocking with you back and forth. And yeah, so mhm.
Okay. Now you had to get a different license in each state to do that. I can't just get a license in Boston, come to Indiana, right? You have to recertify or something.
um You have, it depends on, some states want you to have a certification from a certain place. So
Hmm.
when you get to that place, you would just have to find out, what that state requires you to have.
I see. Okay.
Mhm.
So you have that certification, and what college did you go to for your I don't know
Social work.
yeah, tell me your degrees. What do you got? Master's, doctorate, where you at?
I'm an LBSW, so I'm a licensed bachelor social worker. So,
Oh, okay.
um,
All right.
yeah, I went to IUPUI,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you know, I did this while taking care of, 4 children
Mm-hmm.
and and
Wow.
working 2 jobs. I was
Mm-hmm.
fortunate enough to get a scholarship from the Nina Mason Pulliam um, Foundation, and so they paid for my tuition, they paid for my books, they gave me a stipend, they gave me tutors, so I
Mm.
had a lot of support,
Yes.
and yeah, so
Yeah.
I was grateful and blessed to
Mm-hmm.
have that. Mhm.
Now, how did you juggle 4 kids and go to school
four
and
four kids, two
and
jobs.
oh man. And
Yeah,
were you married at that time too?
no,
Oh
no,
my.
no.
Mm.
I have been divorced for 28 years.
20-year
Um,
veteran. Okay.
yeah, so I did it on my own by the grace of God, you know. Um, I was able to keep it moving.
Did
That
you
is my motto. Mhm.
did you feel like, man, how am I gonna do this? Or was some days you wanted to give up?
Of
Or
course.
yeah,
Of course. I had quite a few of those days where I was just like, oh Lord, how am I going to do this? I'm tired. You
right,
know, I'm up at night, discussion boards are due at 12 a.m. and I'm on there 11:45 trying to get it done, trying to
right.
type it. And, just trying to go to class. I mean, I had some classes online, but,
Mm-hmm.
I had some I had to go in and right after work, I'm going to class. And then I just had to juggle my part-time hours and practicum.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and sure, there were plenty of days when I was like, ooh, I can't do this because, you know, going to school when you're older and you're just like, oof,
Yeah.
it was a lot.
Oh, I can
So, but
imagine.
I got through it.
Good, good. I'm
Uh-huh.
glad you were able to do that. But let me ask you this. Do you find that since you were able to do what many probably would describe as dang near impossible by attaining all of the things you've accomplished, do you find yourself a little hard on other people when they come at you with less obstacles and they're not doing what they need to do? Or are you more empathetic, like, oh, okay, I understand. You get no kids and you can't find a job and are you understanding of that?
I am, because I understand that everybody is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned to meet people where they are at,
Mm,
because uh, you know everybody is built differently,
man.
and so I just grew to understand that I cannot compare myself to what somebody else is doing, and it's or expect somebody to do what I've done,
Right.
um, because we all have different paradigms and come from different backgrounds with different traumas and all kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. So I can't, somebody say I can't do this or whatever. I try to do my best to say, well, here's some resources,
Mm-hmm.
here's some tools. If they ask me, well, Liz, how did you do it? I am more than, you know, I'm open about everything what I did. So I'm like, here you go. I'm
Yes.
I'm more than glad to give them the tools,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but I do understand that everybody's built different.
Now that's a very wise perspective on that. Have you always been that pragmatic in your approach to dealing with other people? Because I know personally, I had similar struggles when I came up. I just don't. I didn't have that smartness that you have to say, I'm going to meet them where they are. I was more of like, look, you can't give me no excuse. Dude, really? How did you know? Did you have an experience with somebody that you helped and you saw that, or where did that logic come from?
Yeah. I guess just having empathy,
Mm,
and just watching people with their different struggles in life,
yeah.
you know, um, and just having that understanding that, you know, some
Mhm.
people just need a little more help than others,
Yes.
So we didn't say it's smartness, but it's just having compassion, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
um, and just really um, trying my best to let people know that, hey, keep going,
Right.
try it a different way. That didn't work, try something else, you
Hmm.
know, but
Yep.
just keep trying, just keep doing it,
Yeah.
something will happen. Mhm.
Yeah. What's your phrase? Do something different. Say something different. Get some.
Do something different.
Right. Yeah. Do something. Go down a different street. Just do something different.
Yes.
Um, I want to pivot back to Boston for a moment before I go
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm.
Now, living in Boston, I know there are a lot of um, famous people who come from that area. Did you happen
Mhm.
to meet any of these famous people? Know anybody? Rub shoulders with anybody? Or was you just on
Um,
that bus taking them rocks all day? I know you had to do some sometime.
uh, I've had the opportunity to go to school with uh, some of the New Edition crew. Shout out to New Edition.
Yeah, my
Uh,
favorite group. Yes.
I went to school with Bobby, Ricky, and Ralph.
What?
Uh, Shout out to Ricky. I had a crush on Ricky Bell, by the way.
Ricky Bell. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were on the same bus, and yeah. But
Wow.
I remember when they first came to school, and I remember Ralph saying, we made a song, and we're all like, oh, really? Okay. And
Yeah.
then I remember one day I was over my good friend Cynthia's house, and we were just listening to the radio, and then they played, that's like, this is New Edition, Candy Girl. And we were just so excited, for them.
Yeah.
We're screaming and clapping and dancing. And yeah, so yeah, that was amazing
Yeah.
to have
Mm-hmm.
known them. And then shout out to Free from 106 Park. I went to
Mm.
school with her at the Tech, at Boston Tech.
Oh, fine
And
free. Hmm.
you know what? They were jealous of Free.
Back then too,
Okay.
huh? She was
Yo,
fine then too, huh?
Free was a good looking chick, and yeah, she had some haters. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
but shout out to Free. Um, I lived across the street from New Kids on the Block.
Man, we
Um,
know
I was on
everybody.
a side street, a small
Hmm.
side street. They live behind the courthouse,
Hmm.
which is that street is night and day from the street that I live on.
Hmm.
But I remember all the girls waiting outside the gate, screaming, waiting, for them to come out of the gate and all of that. But yeah, so
Yeah.
you
Man,
know,
that's yeah.
I've had some experiences. And the last time I remember when Bobby made his first album, he did a concert in Franklin Field Park.
Okay.
And me and my girlfriend, we were walking down the street, and, you know, he walked past us. We were talking, so we really didn't pay attention until he turned around. And he was like, hey, I remember you too. I went to school with y'all. We're like, hey, what's up, Bobby? And he invited
Hmm.
us to a party. We
Okay.
didn't go.
Oh yeah. Bobby was wild. Hmm.
But yeah, Bobby was cool. Bobby was real cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Even though nobody can accurately or no human can accurately predict the future, did you think that New Edition would get as big as they got based off, being in your neighborhood and just a song on the radio? Did you kind of say this could get bigger?
Um, I think they had what it took. They had the moves, and they were all cool guys, and did we think that they would be as big as they are today? We didn't know. All we knew is that we knew these kids from our area, and they were doing their thing.
Yeah.
Um, I remember Bobby Brown. He did we had like a talent show,
Mm-hmm.
and he sung with this girl named Stephanie. Uh, the song "Baby Come to
Oh
Me,"
yeah, 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 yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, he's good," you
Mm.
know. So just to see where they are today,
Yes.
they are still. I mean, they're bigger. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. Yeah.
they are. I mean, it's just amazing. It's
Mm.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
absolutely think that's, to me, they're one of the best groups ever. And that's a lofty award for me to put them up there, because my understanding is the purpose of any group is to find a breakout artist and then make that person a solo artist, such as the Jacksons, Michael Jackson, Commodore, Lionel Richie, uh, Destiny's Child, Beyonce, and so forth. With
Mhm.
New Edition, I don't think Bobby was supposed to have been a breakout star. I thought Ralph would have been, but needless to say, when they all split up and they all blew up separately and then
Yeah.
came back together,
Yeah.
that don't happen. That don't
Right.
happen too often. And I think
Yeah.
they got better when they came back together. So my hats are definitely off to New Edition. So, and they still revel, you know what I'm saying? They still popular right now. So
They
that's
sure
just
are.
amazing. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, you had mentioned that you had been divorced for 28 years. Um, when you got married, how did you meet your husband? Let's go back to him. Was he in Boston too, or was he a Nap guy?
No, no. Definitely high school sweethearts.
Oh, high
Um,
school sweethearts.
yeah, he tried to get me when I was in the 11th grade, but I wasn't having it. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we were seniors, we started dating, and he was on the football team.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's one of the captains.
Oh, there it is. Was you a cheerleader or
And
something? That's normally what they go for.
nah, I wasn't a cheerleader. I kind of like did my own thing. I kind of knew everybody, was cool with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, that's where we met. Um, we pretty much were kind of dated and then got serious, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, I got pregnant.
Oh,
And
in high school?
yeah,
Okay, senior year.
right,
Okay.
right before I graduated.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And ended up, getting married.
Oh, you got
Um,
married young like that?
well,
Like,
we didn't get married. We stayed together. We were together for at least about 8 years before we got
okay.
married. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we got married, we were only married for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. That was quick. How did you know he was the one? How did you know? Or was he the one? Better
um,
yet, I'll rephrase that question.
uh, no,
What?
he was humble.
Okay, I was
That's
gonna ask you the
what
qualities.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. I like humble guys, and uh he was very, quiet. He was popular, but he was very humble, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he just had a lot of qualities. And uh we used to sing to him in class just to make him blush.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Wow, look at there.
But yeah,
That
that's what attracted me to him.
he you seem quiet as well. I could be wrong, but you seem quiet and he's quiet. What type of wife were you? Were you that submissive type who like to cook, or were you it's gonna be my way or the highway type, or were you what would you say you fell in there?
um I think I was a good wife. I wouldn't say you know I kind of fell in the middle. I kind of like I demanded the same respect that he demanded. And
Mm-hmm.
but I cooked, cleaned, took care of the kids and all of that, but I handled the business.
Mm.
And And so, you know, there was no power over. It was like, you know, we in this together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's just say we could go back in time. We had a time machine, and you can go back and talk to yourself 3 days before you got married. What would you tell yourself?
Run. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I would say, you know, I would have did things a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was, like I said, very shy, kept everything to himself. I don't know what I would have said to answer your question, but um, you know, I'm a strong believer there's two sides of every story. Like when you pointing fingers at somebody, that those other fingers are pointing at you.
Mm.
So you know, I wouldn't say I was the perfect wife.
Okay.
But um it, you know, the communication was a big thing. Like he just didn't want to talk about things. And I'm the type of
Oh.
person like we need to figure this out. You know,
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
we're gonna work this out. We need to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that was our downfall, the
Okay.
communication piece,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That is important in a relationship. I think communication is actually the lifeblood of any good relationship. And unfortunately, we don't get that training, I guess, or say, or before marriage, we really just see our relatives or who, how far can we go with it. So, and I
It
find a lot of
definitely
times.
goes back to like how you were raised and,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
and, you know, he's, today we're cordial, you know, we
Okay.
talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's growth right there, because
Mhm.
I think I asked you that question about if you can go back and ask, because I asked myself that before. And I think for me, if I went back, I would ask myself to see if I knew myself and if I knew that person. Because really, I don't think you really know somebody until you tell them no. That's just me. Then when you give
Mm.
them that no, because if they get so comfortable with your yes, and then you give them a no, well, you find out the rubber hit the road, you real quick. Oh, wait a minute, it's my money. I don't have to give you this loan if I don't want to. But
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you know what I say, no is a complete sentence.
I like that. It's a complete sentence.
No, period. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
period. Mhm.
Yeah, that's sometimes it's hard to take.
A lot of people don't know how to take no. They
Mhm.
don't know how to, so what they do is not, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Yep.
uh, what they do is say, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
Hmm.
I could go. And
Yep.
then they kicking themselves in the butt, like, why did I tell them I'll do it?
Right. Yep.
I don't feel like doing it. You know, and I have
Hmm.
to tell a lot of my clients and friends, you know, learn how to say no. It's
Yeah.
okay. You know,
Right.
but they're afraid to tell people no.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's something that you have to work on
Yeah.
because you're trying to people please. It don't work.
Right. Yep. Because you actually end up taking on their problems because they didn't want or couldn't or whatever. Now you got to be responsible for theirs, and that's some burden that yeah, you don't want to do that. Um, my other question I wanted to ask you about this marriages, being on your own for 28 years. I'm sure you've dated in there, but what type of man will it take to win your heart again this time going around? What will it take?
Mm. Mm.
Mm-mm. Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Um.
Dating world's changed.
Oh boy. It's a scary, scary place
Mm-hmm.
out there. Um. You know, I'm kind of like working on me. I've dated. I have not been in a serious relationship since I moved to Indianapolis. Um. It's just it's real scary out there, and I'm the type of woman. I'm not gonna settle.
Mm-hmm.
So um I try to be open, you know, try to not say, oh, I need this type of man to be like this and that, uh, just a whole bunch of crazy been coming at me.
They out
whole, bu-
there.
whole
They
bunch of
out there.
crazy. And they,
Yeah.
when you got a whole bunch of crazy coming at you, you're like, eh,
Mm. Yeah, pump them brakes.
let me just work on me right now.
Okay.
Let me just, when God's ready, the right one would come because uh, when you go looking and try to search, boy,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm good right now.
Okay.
Do I want a man in my life? Yes.
Mm.
Um, but he's gonna have to pull out all the cards because
Yeah.
boy, yeah.
You've done a lot, like you said, when you got that degree and then the doula too, to do all that. Like I said, that's pressure because another I'm thinking, dude, I don't know. That's why I was asking. You,
It
I
don't
mean, he
have
just can't come.
anything, yeah, it don't have anything to do about my career or degrees or anything because I think, my personality, I'm like fun loving, I like to joke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, uh, and I'm not like trying to put somebody in the box, like you got to be like this, that, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want somebody genuine. Um, you know, somebody that can be their true authentic self, somebody that has done the work on themselves. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of broken people out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have examined themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, therapy is good for a lot of people.
Mm.
It's a taboo still in the Black community, but people are starting to come around and realize, hey, maybe I do need to talk to somebody and process all this stuff. But what I found, Ward, is most of the men that I've dated, they have daddy issues.
Oh, let's
Uh,
dig a little deeper there. What do you mean by that?
the daddy did not raise them, or the father was uh, out taking care of other people's children, not taking care of their own seeds.
Mm.
Uh, I've had two guys I dated, their fathers had houses, cars, and everything, but was not taking care of them, but were taking care of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So broken men like with daddy issues, that's huge. If you don't have that foundation of, you know, having that man to teach you how to be a man,
Right.
um, it's just that those are the type of guys I've been running into. They just, or they were, grew up in foster care. They didn't have like good family relationships or
Yeah.
bonds.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of brokenness, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
trauma. Um, and then, we all got issues to work on,
All of
but
us. All of
some
us.
of us got a little more
Mm-hmm.
struggles,
Yes.
So I didn't judge them,
Right. Right.
but until you work on yourself, that stuff seeps out in different ways.
You're right. It will. It will be displayed. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good point. And I think that a lot of times men get like cement all mixed up and set in our ways, and it's hard to change because society sometimes make the man feel like you the head of the house. That means it's your way or no way. You got to stomp your feet. You walk in the house. And that's not really loving to women. And I think sometimes it's a double standard because we really don't know how to treat women and like that communication. It's like we're like a Ziploc bag. You can see everything in there, and we saying that wrong, but you see all that stuff jumbled up, but we don't want to admit it. So therapy is a challenge for
Yeah,
many men. Why do you think
a
men
real
don't
a
like
real
going there?
man.
Why do we hate that? Why are
just
we afraid of it?
just generational stuff, people passing down
Mm-hmm.
uh the things that are not true, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, but to get back to that stomping in the room thing,
Yes.
um, if you're a real man, you don't have to do all of that.
Right.
When you walk in a room, your presence, a woman can tell a man that is confident with who they are. So the ones that got to do all that noise and I'm the man in the house and this and that, you're insecure. Yeah. Because a real man don't have to do all of that. It's just their presence. You know, some men just walk in the room and they like, it's like they demand attention without even saying it. It's like, so it's, you know, it's just respect how you treat women. And, you know, I don't know why men don't like going to counseling. I shouldn't say men, because there are a lot of men that are working on themselves out there. But you know, there are just a lot of men that just need help. Just like us women, not leaving us out. Yeah. But you know, they just got to be willing to open up, because we know that men communication thing is just they'll shut down on you
real quick.
And yeah, they just need to open up and be willing to talk. That's our things. You know, if with the woman, if you know how to talk to her with kindness and and listen to her, you know, you can just go a long way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also there's been a paradigm shift in women as well too, because women sometimes change. And that, like, if a man gets married, he might have the impression that, okay, I found a perfect girl. I want her to stay like this forever. And sometimes women think, oh, I found a perfect guy. I just need to fix this, and this, and then we'd be good. So that mindset can kind of affect things as well. And another thing I found for me personally is, if a woman changes what she did initially, like you met her with her hair always done, her makeup nice, the heels, the tight dress and all that, and she said, I don't want to do that no more. I ain't wearing this no more. I ain't get my face beat anymore. You should love me anyway for who I am. But if the guy says, hey, I don't want to work hard no more, I don't want to work and pay all the bills, I want to chill, it don't work. Don't work. So do you find a double standard in relationships sometimes?
I feel like, you know, there are some double standards, but I think the core of that, I'm always going to go back to communication. So, like you said, you meet a woman, you expect her to be like this. We all going to grow old. We all going to change, you know, so that woman is not going to be how you met her 20, 30 years down the road. You know, she's going to gain a little weight, get a few wrinkles, whatever.
Right.
Same thing with the men, right?
Yep.
They're going to change. They might not can perform like they used to. So, you know, it's all about communication. Like, when you love somebody, you love them for who they are. See, a lot of people go into it, you know, about looks. You know, of course, you want somebody that's easy on the eyes. You know, you want to roll over to somebody easy on the eyes. However, I can just say for me, you know, you got to get me up here first. Like, okay, I want to be able to have a conversation with you. I want to be around you. You know, I look forward to seeing you. So if you take the looks out of everything, because that society wants you to look a certain way, you shouldn't have this, I don't like this, you know, everybody likes what they like, but
exactly, yeah,
you know, there's just so much today, you know, that people want to create this person. And like I heard what you said about you know, not wanting to work or as hard and stuff like that. All of this should be in conversations ahead of time. Like when you first start dating, what do you want in life? What are your goals? What do you want to do later in life? You know, people don't take the time to get to know each other.
Yes.
They just go head first and dive right in. And then now, months later, you found out something that you should have been asked about before you started dating this person.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think it goes back to communication. It goes back to what are you looking for in a partner?
Yep.
So it just it's about respect. We are not going to be the same 10, 20, 30 years from now. People are going to change.
That's right. You definitely will change. I always
Mhm.
say you're gonna grow two ways. You're gonna grow together or you're gonna grow apart, but you will grow.
That's right.
Yeah. I think also, like you said, it's about knowing yourself too, because
Mhm.
I hear a lot of people on social media ask somebody, well, what do you bring to the table? One person, well, I am the table. And you got the passport brothers going overseas to get a woman because they want a traditional woman, because um, women might sometimes say, well, I want a man to pay my bills. I want him to do this. I want him to do that. But what are you gonna do for me? Well, I'm gonna cook for you, clean for you, watch your kids, do all your stuff. Well, then when does that start? Well, when we get married. Well, then when do I have to start being a man to you? Right now. So it's a lot of things that I think society is pushing a narrative that it's kind of confusing, because this divorce rate in this country is at 50%. And second marriages have a higher divorce rate in so many. That's why you see people get divorced two, three, four, five, six times. They don't learn how to stick it out. And I know that that's something that we just, I don't think other cultures are like that. I'm not sure in the Hispanic culture. I may have to do some research on that, but
We just put expectations on people. Like, um, you know, the women that say, oh, you can only bring me this to this restaurant, or
right.
you can only do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, people just expect people to do these things, and there's no connection. There's no, we're not dating. I'm not expecting you to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
We have no commitment.
Right.
Um, I think some of the best dates are really just going to the park and talking and
Man. Yeah,
walking somewhere,
right. Get to know them.
have a communication,
Mm-hmm.
it don't always have to be you gotta spend $200-300 on me and something. Then it's like I don't even like you and you don't like
Right.
me and I don't
Right.
waste my money. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so it just all goes back to slowing down, asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who are you? What do
Mm-hmm.
you want in life? What have you
Yes.
done?
Yes.
Where are you going? What type of career you want? What do you want to do with your career?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want children? Do you have children? How many
Yeah.
children you want? You know, it's just like everything today is just fast.
Right.
Everything's just,
Mm-hmm.
and you just dating today is crazy.
It
That's all
definitely
I
is.
can say.
Yeah. I call it the microwave society, where we want it fast and we want it now. Whereas everybody knows the meals you cook and take your time. You're a cook. They tend to be better, taste better, and they're cooked with love. You can feel the difference, and you want to sit
That's
down and
right.
enjoy that. So I
Mm-hmm.
find a lot of people don't do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pivot back to this question as well. I know you had the four kids. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
grandkids at this time?
I have one.
One
I have
grandkid.
one, yeah, little
Okay.
Carter. He's
Okay.
5 years old.
Yeah.
The love of my life, the man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being a grandma is another whole level.
That's what I want
Yeah.
to ask you. Do you find that being a grandparent, that you parent differently this time? Are you what's different than seeing your grandkid versus your biological kids come up? How are you viewing things? Are you thinking the same? Is it
Well, I'm a veteran,
right? Right. Yeah.
so I've, made the parenting mistakes and kind of, I got the experience now where I can share with my daughter, hey, maybe you should try this or try that. But the best thing is that you can love on them, play
Mm-hmm.
with them, take them out, spoil them, and give them back. Yeah.
Yeah, going back home now.
So yeah. So you just it's just a different level of like joy. Um,
Hmm.
knowing that you created a person that now has created a person. So you get to see your bloodline moving forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. My kids told me when my little grandfriend come over, they was like, "Well, you let him do stuff you didn't let us do. He jumped on the sofa. He doing this and that." I think, as you like you said, when you come veteran status, you see, it's not that serious. Sometimes, sometimes
Yeah.
you can. It's okay to wild out just sometimes. It's okay. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
maybe we
true.
tired. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not tired. Like,
He gonna be all right.
you see stuff, you be like, man,
All right.
it's all right. It's gonna
All
be, we're
right.
gonna live another day.
All right. Yeah. So, and you said you have four kids, right?
Yes,
Two
two
boys and two
boys and
girls.
two girls. Yeah.
Okay. And which one is your favorite?
They
I'm
all are
just,
my
I'm
favorite. They
just playing.
all are my favorite.
Okay.
That's the thing about kids. They all have a different personality and
Yeah.
they all bring something different. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Um, now I want to also talk about your business. You had said you had the businesses of cooking here.
Mhm.
How did that come about? How did you?
Just the joy of cooking with my mom. She had a small catering
Okay.
business,
Yeah.
and so I would help her.
Hmm.
Um, and that's how I started out, just watching my mom in the kitchen. I used to be the only one up, like especially around the holidays with her. And she's like,
Yes.
"Taste this, do that, add some of this, pour that, stir that up." So that's how I learned how to cook.
Hmm.
And so just being a nurturer, and I started cooking for family and friends, and
Okay.
come up with some came up with some different recipes and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so I started my business, Auntie Liz's Kitchen,
Yep.
mostly catering and things like that. um, and so just having that joy,
Hmm.
uh, do a little bit of Caribbean food. I can do a
Okay.
little bit of Hispanic food, soul food.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do a little bit of everything.
What's your
Mhm.
go-to meal? What's something you know if you got to hurt them? I'm gonna cook this.
My
What's your
jerk
go?
ribs and my jerk burgers, man. Man,
Mm,
they just,
mm.
yeah. Every time I go home, they be on me because we usually have some type of event or something, and they
Yes.
stop. You're gonna make them jerk burgers, you're gonna make them jerk ribs. So those definitely are two meals that stand
Can't
out.
miss.
Like,
Can't.
yeah.
You,
I have them I have them in the chokehold on those.
There's even hurting them. And now, what is a jerk burger? Tell me what a jerk burger is. Describe that to me.
So the jerk burger, it's like a burger with jerk spices, a grilled pineapple,
Uh-huh.
and then I can't tell you all my
Okay.
ingredients
Right.
and
Right.
stuff
Right.
like
Right.
that, but it has pineapple in the jerk burger, and
You mean the
you
pineapple
know
ring or like the
yeah,
chunks? Or
the ring,
okay.
grill that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you grill the ring and then put it on the burger, and
Yeah.
then it's not ketchup and mustard. No,
Now
that's all.
you trying to
Okay,
get
all
off.
right.
No,
I want to try a jerk burger. I want to try that because that
I will
I
make
said
you a
them.
jerk burger.
All
I
right, I'm
will
gonna hold you
make
to
you.
that. Yeah, because
Hmm.
that sounds good because I do like pineapple, but I've never had it on a hamburger.
Everybody always say when I put it all together and they take that first bite, uh, I usually get like a look like, "Are you serious?" type look. Where you been
Mm,
with this? Um,
right.
and they're like, "I did not think that all of that would go together."
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
need to know. I need to know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. So okay. Um, so you were cooking like that for your kids. Did anybody follow in
Oh
your
yeah.
footsteps of cooking, or did it stop with
Actually,
you?
actually, my oldest boy, he's the one that actually brought the jerk burger to me. So shout out to my oldest, Marcus.
Okay, Marcus.
Marcus Darling. He actually is a chef. He has worked at some amazing places, including St. Elmo's.
Oh, that's expensive right there.
Yeah, he's in there making them steaks.
Yep, very
But
expensive steak.
He picked it up from me and my mother.
Okay.
And he's very like creative. He can create like he's really good with like making sauces for stuff and creating things. He knows how to put stuff together. And oh yeah, he's really good. Yeah, he's really good. So I have you know, just the utmost respect for him in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
He give you a run for your money? He put people in
Yeah,
chokehold too?
He know, mama gonna bring it, but me and him, we got different flavors. We do different things. So,
okay.
But I like being in the kitchen with him. Yeah.
Okay.
He's quick. Yeah. That's one thing about us. We get up in the kitchen and we get it done.
Yep. So we went from Boston to Indianapolis here. I didn't ask you what made you move to Nap. What made you say I want to go there? Out of all the places in the world, you chose here. Why?
Yeah. I have a cousin here that has been here for some time. Like she always try to get me to move to Indianapolis, But at the time when I was in Boston, was dating, and it just wasn't going well. And I'm just like, man, and then I had lost my mom.
Oh, sorry.
And that really, I was like, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to be somewhere new. Because, me and my mom, we were really close.
Okay.
And I, took care of her, did the whole hospice thing. And then I was just like, I need to be somewhere different. Yes. And I remember being in my kitchen and I was like talking to God and I'm like, what am I going to do? And he's just like, go. And I'm like, go where? Indianapolis. And it was on and popping that night. I called my cousin. I was like,
that was quick.
I said, I'm moving. I'm coming. She's like, you're not coming. I'm like, I'm moving. And I started taking stuff off the walls, board. I mean, I just was in there the kids woke up the next morning. They thought we had got robbed.
Dang.
His stuff was all over the place. And they're like, what is going on? Yeah. And I was like, we're moving. So, I had a conversation. I sat down. There's like, Indiana. Yeah. I don't want to move to now. Indiana. And oh man, they were so against it. But it's just a good move for me.
Oh, it sounds like it. Yeah. So is this home now? Are we going somewhere else? Is this you retiring here?
At one point, I thought about moving to Charlotte, but right now, for now, this is home for now.
Yeah.
Well, but I go home. There's no place like home, right? Yeah. So I go to Boston at least 2-3 times a year sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta get that seafood.
Right. Yeah. Clam chowder and all that stuff.
All of that, the lobster, the crab, all of it.
Had none of that. Never had it, but I'm glad you like it. So the good thing about Indianapolis is the cost of living is it's pretty economical here.
Oh yeah.
And you can travel from here. Do you travel much? Have you been anywhere?
I travel a lot. And that is so true. The cost of living is way cheaper to live here. Boston is through the roof, right? But I travel all the time. I just got back from St. Lucia.
Nice.
I've been to many different places in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, Barbados, and then within the U.S., I've traveled a lot within the U.S. also. I travel at least two or 3 times a year. So my niece is a travel agent, and she keeps us going, so she keeps the family together. So we're always traveling, and shout out to her too.
Yeah, you
Red
can shout out
Flight.
her travel agency. You can say that name.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
she with?
Shout out to redflighttravel.com.
Red Flight Travel.
Yeah,
Got it.
and I mean, she keeps us together and traveling. If you can do it, um, it's just for me something I look forward to. Just being on the beach, just sitting on the beach, sitting on the water,
Hmm.
um, learning different cultures,
Yes.
um, eating different foods. Um, it's just so it just brings me so much joy to
Hmm.
be, in a different space because we work hard, you
Yes.
know, life expectancy is like I think 78 or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
But people work until they retire. They 68, 70.
Yeah.
Now you really can't move about. You can't go places because you got all these ailments and
Hmm.
so I say to people, I don't care if it's in the United States, I don't care where you go, try to go somewhere different.
Right.
And
Yeah.
because all you do is you work, 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 and you have to have that work-life balance.
Yeah. I think that helps you probably more than you realize because if you're out there seeing the world and different things, it's kind of hard to get beat down by having a bad day at work when you know you've seen other things. You've seen people live better than you, seen people live worse than you, and you know that, on your worst day of troubles, you survived them all and you still can keep going forward. So I commend you for traveling. I haven't been nowhere like that. I need to get out there. So that's
Yeah.
very commendable.
You can learn from people. You can learn so many different things from people, just
Yeah.
by going different places and talking to people. Yeah.
Yep. Last question I have in this round is about trauma. You mentioned that you talk to a lot of people and help them out by listening. Can you give me an example of what is trauma and just some examples of what trauma is from your perspective?
Trauma is like experiencing an unexpected event
Okay.
in your life. It could be uh, many different things. It could be earthquake, or it could be, you know, sexual trauma.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be physical trauma, any type of abuse it's life changing.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
uh, Trauma,
Death.
I do a lot of death, most definitely death, experiencing somebody, passing away,
Mm-hmm.
all those things that can be traumatic, your upbringing, your environment.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different factors.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the work that I do now as a social worker. I work with the homeless
Okay.
population.
Yes.
Um, People, should I say, people experiencing
Yes.
homelessness.
Yeah. Experiencing it. Yeah.
That
Yep.
is the way to say it.
Yep.
People experiencing homelessness. And so getting them to understand that their, their trauma is usually what is holding them back from so many things, like not dealing with the traumas in their past. So I do
Right.
the ACE assessment with them, which is 10 questions, first 18 years of your life. And that ACE assessment, depending on their score, I have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and usually that is when they kind of, the switch goes of like, yeah, I did experience that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, that was traumatic for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's when they open up, and my goal is to get them to, you know, seek trauma counseling.
I see.
Because when you are, you know, when you're like experiencing homelessness and people just like, why can't they just get it together? Why they keep becoming homeless, and why this and why that? Because they haven't dealt with the things in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get your mind together and you can focus, because when you're a child, trauma changes the brain,
Oh, wow.
and it reshapes and changes the brain. And you just get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of adults that their minds is like like they can't get it together and they just stuck.
Yeah.
And
Stuck
until
like
they
Chuck.
process that trauma and really see that, hey, yeah, this does have an effect on me.
Yeah.
Because what happens is people don't realize that they, have experienced all this trauma, and they go through their adult life thinking that, hey, I'm okay. And then they're not even seeing how these past traumas have carried on throughout their life.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet that can affect people in relationships too. Not knowing how to
Absolutely.
talk and not knowing how to problem solve, and it just can kind of go from there. Yeah,
Triggers, stuff that trigger them
you
about,
said,
trigger.
oh, I thought you said something else. You trigger. Never mind. Go ahead.
Trigger. That's my
Okay.
accent. Don't mind
Okay.
me. And so, it could be like something that you see about this person that remind you of somebody that did something to you, and it's like, you remind me of too much of this person. I can't remember that
Yeah.
song. You remind me of a girl that
Yeah.
I
Yep.
once knew.
Usher.
Like
Yep.
he couldn't deal with it because
Right.
you remind me of this
Right.
chick.
Yes.
Okay, same thing. It's just like there's just so many things that people go through when they have experienced domestic violence or any type of things. Like all this stuff carries on, and if you don't seek help, it's passed down to your children around you, and they see you always depressed, always angry, you're never happy, and they're taking all this in, and they're carrying all this with you. So if you are experiencing any type of trauma like that, do the work on yourself. Get yourself together so that you don't pass down this trauma from generation to generation. Yeah.
Stop that cycle.
Yes.
Once again, you're listening to What's Up with Ward TV, and my name is Wardy Ward, and we're speaking with Liz Wilson out of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're going to move to the final section of this podcast before we get out of here. We call this part rapid fire. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. You just tell me what comes to mind. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I've heard you singing a little bit on this podcast. Do you consider yourself a good singer? And if so, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, definitely. If Only You Knew by Patti LaBelle.
Okay. All right. You want to give us a sample real quick? You'll give us a couple bars?
No.
Not today. Okay. All right. Do you like being a person of color, a Black person? Or if you could switch nationalities, would you say, I'm out of here?
I love being a Black woman. Absolutely love it.
With all the stuff that come with it, you still wouldn't change?
I wouldn't change it, not for nothing.
Okay. Why is it wrong for people to touch people's hair? Like say,
ooh, Lord.
like say another person touching it. Why is that wrong? Is it wrong?
Oh, Lord. I just experienced this last week.
Uh-oh.
White coworker came, touched my hair. And first of all, you shouldn't touch anybody. There's boundaries, period. Right. You don't know people's past traumas or whatever. However, I had to school her and let her know Black women have been touched without permission for years.
Years, yeah.
It disempowers us, so you come in thinking that you have the right to just come and pet us like we're pets. We're not pets.
No.
You can't just walk up to people and start touching them. I don't care how, fascinated you are with the hairdo or whatever. You should not touch people, period. You have to have boundaries. And so I'm constantly schooling people and letting them know, no, you cannot touch people, especially Black women. You do not touch us because, like I said, we have been touched without permission for years.
Yep, I agree. All right. Next question. What are you most excited about at this point in your life career?
You know what? I'm just excited right now at this age that I'm at, a little
Mm-hmm.
more wiser.
Yep.
You know, just picking good friends,
Mm-hmm.
people to be around,
Yep.
having good conversations with people, um, and traveling. So, you know, for me, this is a good time in my life. I've just been surrounding myself with good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes a difference.
Mhm.
Um, when it comes to politics, a lot of stuff is going on there. I'm neutral when it comes to that, but I always ask people this question: how do you feel about Trump? What do you think about him?
Uh, I don't think we have enough time for this podcast. Uh,
Okay.
I feel like Trump is who he is. He's
Mm-hmm.
not going to change.
Yep.
Uh, you know, he knows he has power. He knows he's privileged,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, regardless of what he is going through right now with the courts and stuff, in his mind, he can overcome anything. So he's sitting back and he's just living in his privileged world.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, do you sugarcoat bad news, or do you just give it to people straight?
Ooh, it all depends. Sometimes I'm a straight up no chaser type of person
Mm-hmm.
when I feel like that's what needs to be, where it needs to be.
Yep.
Um, but then, you know, sometimes, you know, I feel like I got to come in a little, you know, with a different approach and be a little softer with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But, you know, people know I'm real. People that know me know I usually don't sugarcoat stuff. I kind of like, I
Mm.
find a way to not kind of make it abrasive, but you know, I'm telling you the truth. You know, if you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you know what it is. Sometimes
Okay.
even if you don't ask me, but yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's cool. You respect that. Um, better movie, Love Jones or Cooley High?
Love Jones.
Now most men go with Cooley High. Most women go with Love Jones. What
Mhm.
made Love Jones such a good movie? What did you like about it?
I just like I just like the characters, and I remember I haven't seen it in a while, but I just remember I sat there and watched the whole thing and I just loved it. And uh you know, I like those type of movies, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Cooley High is cool, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
Love
I, I
Jones.
I I like them both. I think Love Jones is an excellent movie because
Mhm.
to me it was very authentic. It was
Yeah,
very you get caught up in like this is real, you
that's
know.
why I
So
said I couldn't stop watching. I was just, I liked it.
excellent
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
People haven't seen it, get it. Martin or Living Single?
Ooh.
My
Uh, let's see.
both had banging
I kind of,
soundtrack.
oh yeah. I mean, that's a hard one because I like them both. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for different
Yeah.
reasons. You know, if I wanted to get a good laugh, you know, Martin is so silly and stuff. I mean, so, but
Yeah.
then living single, seeing the women and their goofiness, you know, that
Mm.
sisterhood, you
Yeah.
know, all that. So that's a tough one.
Okay. All right. Um, I think I might know this answer, but would you rather marry a broken man or a broke man?
Broken man or broke man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I'm married a broken man.
Ooh, you can fix him, huh?
Not that I can fix him. I think you know, he can fix himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't fix anybody.
Right. Right.
But I said the broken man because we're all a little broken,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Like they said, broken crayon still color,
That's
you
right.
know. And
Yep.
so, you know, we all have to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all about, you know, doing the work. If you want better. So in a sense, all of us have some brokenness within us.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to end this round. And this is going to bring us to the close of this show. And so, Liz, it's been a plum pleasing pleasure to speak with you today, find out a lot more about you and your journey and how you're helping people. Is there anything you want to clarify, modify, or add before we get my final thoughts?
No, it is what it is.
Mm, so well said. She
What
said it
what you
all.
see is what you get.
Gave it to 100% right there. If people want to see more of you or see some of this jerk chicken that you cook and the jerk burger, where can they find your social media footprints again? Where are you located on the web?
On Facebook, Auntie Liz's Kitchen.
Auntie-
Yeah, Auntie Liz's Kitchen on Facebook. Mhm.
Okay. Is that, let me
Or
get that. Auntie,
AuntieLiz'sKitchen.com.
there you go. And they can find there. And you're gonna open this restaurant back up again? Is that something we can look forward to?
Not a restaurant, catering business. I'm looking forward to doing more catering events the summer of 2024.
All right. We're looking forward to that.
Mhm.
All right. Let me go ahead and give my final thoughts before we get out of here. My final thoughts are these. The happiest people don't have the best of everything. We just make the best of everything we do have. I'm a firm believer that our health is our wealth and we deserve to be rich, right? In fact, remember this: I am not the passenger in my dream. I'm the pilot of my own destination. So thank you for all you people who've been listening to What's Aboard TV, and of course my guest, Miss Liz Wilson. As always, we always say that everybody has a story to tell, but we just want to know what's yours. So until next time, peace.